this together, and boom. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Lewis Porter Jr. I'm just getting everything caught up on the Facebook, live on YouTube. Of course, today is Monday, September 5th. I know a lot of people are out for Labor Day. I've had a great Labor Day myself. Talk about a great Labor Day. I mean, I've been able to relax. I've been able to do some personal projects, do some fun stuff with Lucas. It's been a real great time, and I really appreciate it. Like, holy cow, this has been a lot of fun. So, with that said, let me tell you a little funny story before we get started. When I was sitting here just doing some stuff, goofing off, having a great time, not really thinking about anything, and then I said, "Oh, am I supposed to be doing something today?" And then it hit me. I'm like, "Oh, I got a transparency agenda to do." That was like 20 minutes ago. And like I said, I'd already known what I'd want to talk about, so that made it kind of funny. But it was just like, "Oh crap, I gotta do this tonight." So yeah, see, I'm off tomorrow. While most people are going back to work tomorrow, I'm off again tomorrow. So I've turned a 3-day weekend to a 4-day weekend. So it's been a great time. Been a lot to relax. So this has been perfect. Hey Tony. Hey Brendan. Hey Jason. So today we're going to be talking about. Since it's Innovative Monday, I'm thinking about doing some books. So I've got 4 good books here that I want to talk about that I think are really innovative, that I think are very interesting. And I think people, hey Chris, I think people will find very informative to themselves. So, and then of course we're going to talk about one of them. Well, they're all important. They're all important for different reasons. And I think it's good that you have these books. I think they're good books. I think if you enjoy reading, you'll like reading some of these for all different reasons. I love them all. So that's why I have them. So I'm that kind of guy. Then let me discuss some other good things that are going on. I forgot to mention. For all the fans of Neo Exodus, we are literally finishing up the book. The editor turned over the last of the edited pages. I made corrections. I sent them back. He sent me back some changes. We've been going back and forth, but it looks like the book is officially done. That being said, hey John. That being said, I'm going to be putting up. I'm gonna put the last piece of art image that we're still working on. The artist sent us back the original sketch. I had to make some changes. I mean, some references to stuff. So we're going to get that changed very soon. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome time. All right. So I guess, we'll start talking about books. First off, I'm talking about this book that I'm actually just got. For some reason, this is weird. Because on the YouTube channel, it's right side up. On the good Lord, Facebook page, it's backwards. It upsets me. If you can't read it, it says Misfit Economy. I wonder why it's backwards. We'll discuss that. Whatever. This is Misfit Economy. It's written by Alexa Clay and Kyra Myra Phillips. There's a link, of course, so link down below in Facebook. No, sorry, YouTube will be down low. On Facebook will be up top. I just got this book last week. This is like my birthday present book. And, I heard the title and it's like, ooh, this sounds kind of interesting. I must say, I'm just about at 100 pages in now. I read this thing and I really enjoyed it. I mean, highlighting a ton of good information. There's a lot of good ideas. I'm really impressed with how much I really like this book. It's just really interesting. I mean, okay, if you don't know, if you didn't see other videos, the Misfit Economy, the whole name of this book is called The Misfit Economy: Lessons and Creativities from Pirates, Hackers, Gangsters, and Other Informal Entrepreneurs. And she really does a lot of, research about, these other entrepreneurs, unofficial, and it's just really interesting. And it's just a great book. I really like everything about it. The stories are interesting, and this is something I thought was kind of important. I highlighted this, but I want people to see this one. The five ways of unleashing your inner misfit. Following our journey through the world of misfits, we've distilled 5 key principles for unleashing your inner misfit: hustle, copy, hack, provoke, and pivot. Each of these principles are covered in depth in its own chapter in part 2. I've gotten through hustle, and I'm halfway through copy. I think, how far am I to copy? I don't think I have that much left on copy. Yeah, I got like 4 pages left on copy. Hustle was what I thought it would be. It's all about hustling. If you enjoy the hustle, you enjoy understanding that. If you don't know what hustle is, it's going out there every day and going out and finding ways to make yourself as successful in this business. I mean, any business. I think this information pertains to any business at all. I think that was a good point. Copy was interesting. They're talking a lot about intellectual property, and they talk a lot about people copying intellectual property. And people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't copy intellectual property," but they even discuss the side effect of copying people's intellectual property out of enjoyment of the product, not even out of like a financial. Oh, I'm stealing this. It's like, no, I really like this product. I want to make it better, and then innovations come out of that. And just a lot of just talking about, even I think the cotton gin was one of the one things he referred. Um, it's just like here's a section that I guess you all understand very quickly. How illegal downloading inspired innovation, and they talk about how illegal downloading basically inspired Pandora to exist, and it's very interesting. If you like these kind of business technical books, I think a lot of people will like this. Like I said, I'm hoping I can finish this up maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. I got to see how much I'm gonna read, but I really like this book a lot. I've been very pleased. It's it's $26, but of course I got it from Amazon, which is much cheaper. I've been very happy with this book. If you, just in case you see the cover, you can't miss it. Little skull and crossbones. Yeah, this has been a great book. Yeah, it's just a great book. That's all I can say about that. The next book we're going to talk about. This is a classic for me. This is a book that I've used more times than I care to remember. It is a awesome book. This version is from, how old is this? This isn't even an updated one. This was done. This is 2000. This book is from 2000, and I got it. Must have been 2004, 2005 when I picked this up. It was, this book is awesome. This is an awesome book. It's one of my favorite books. I mentioned it many times before. Rules for Revolutionaries by Guy Kawasaki. If you don't know who Guy, let me put it for the YouTube people. If you don't know who Guy is, Guy was the angel, the Apple evangelist, basically for Apple during their payday in the beginning when they were really doing like all the awesome stuff. And it basically fits with 3 simple principles there on the back, so I can remember this real quick. Create like a god, command like a king, work like a slave. And those are the 3 points he puts on. And this book is just chock full of cool ideas that I think will help you understand your business differently and better. Let me see if I can get something. Here's a good one. This is what I like. This is like, he gives you exercises also in the book that are really phenomenal. Hey, Dale, what's going on? And this is like one of the exercises. This is kind of funny, but this is like under command as a king. Send one of your products to your parents or your in-laws. See if they can set it up. If not, see if you can explain to them how to set it up on the telephone. Now, most people are like, oh, that's no big deal. When you start thinking about products, like, no, that might be complicated. I know my father over the phone, I try to explain stuff to him all the time from stuff he gets, and it's very difficult. So I'm like, I don't think that product was made very well. Just, it's just like I said, just amazing. Like this tells you how old this book is, but this is actually a cool exercise. We're talking about like, the topic was called Eat Your Own Dog Food, which basically means you should test your own products. You should use them yourself to see how they really work. Play testing, what we all do in the gaming industry. But one of the ones he did was exercise, which is great. And it's funny to me. I mean, you'll get it in a second. The exercise. Access your website via a 28K modem. Extra credit if your website via America Online with a 28.8K modem. Now, if you don't know what a 28.8K modem is, I think you should, because if you're watching the show, you're of a certain age. We remember that sound, when you have to lock onto the internet with that horrible sound. So, it's like this is just a, think about how accessing your website like that would be, and what kind of changes you'd make. Because people don't think about that. People assume that everyone's got high-speed networks, everyone's got to tie in stuff. What if they don't? How do you get, there are people who are going to your site or your product who maybe not have all the bells and whistles you think they do. Here's another exercise. Examine the educational and work experience background of the colleagues you most consider to be most effective. Do they have the most impressive backgrounds? And sometimes they don't. I've met many people who didn't have an impressive, schooling background. They just figured it out. I think that's a skill in itself, just figuring it out and just understanding stuff. It's just brilliant. So, chapter 2, great title. I'll show it to you. Even be backwards. Don't worry, be crappy. I mean, think about that. Don't worry, be crappy. That's a great title of a chapter, and it does, because the only people are waiting for, the great product, and it just talks about, it's just a lot of smart ideas. Oh, this is a great one. This is, I hope you can. This is gonna suck on the. I guess you have to watch this on the YouTube one. It's talking about the American way of products and the Japanese way. American way is very much a straight line. Concept, engineering, marketing, customer. Straight line, boom, 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 boom. The Japanese way is a circle. Concept, engineering, customer, churn, and go back around and keep perfecting and keep perfecting it. Man, it's like, it's just a good thing. Yeah, Troy. Yeah, you're in Troy. It's funny. Like, I'm a graphic designer. I didn't go to school for it. My degree's in political science. But I did meet some awesome designers. Don't get me wrong. Not every designer I met who was great didn't go to school. I met some guys who were like amazing. I know one guy in particular, Rich. Rich now is, I think he's still down. He heads all the marketing for Miami. If he's still doing that. Last time I remember, he was doing that. Awesome designer. I mean, he was just an awesome artist. He was an artist in every sense of the word. And another buddy of ours, Adrian, another artist in every sense of the word. But I don't think Adrian went to school. I think Adrian was kind of self-taught, figured it out, and just was that kind of guy. So, creativity is creativity. You're creative. It doesn't matter what you went to school for it. If you're smart, you figure it out. You figure it out. You do what you got to do, and you hustle. See how these books have all the same things together? Chapter 5 out of here. Make evangelists, not sales. That's important. That's very, very important. I tell you, just a lot of this book is just chock full of stuff that is just interesting. It's just this brilliance. This book is just full of brilliance. So if you haven't picked this up, you should really go out of your way to pick this book up. I can't let it put this up higher again. I keep forgetting that. This book is a great book. It's a great book. Anything that Guy puts out, I still just read now. I'm a fan of his, so I'm reading it constantly. Ooh. See, no glare here. It's difficult. You got two cameras right above each other. Just a lot of brilliant ideas. A lot of brilliant ideas you can get out of there. See, Chris Negeline said Fred Hicks. I didn't know Fred was self-taught. I assume Fred probably went to school. He's very, very good. It's like you can tell guys who've been to school and guys who aren't. And plus some guys are just natural artists, too. There's that whole generation of guys who just, when Photoshop came out, it became like more readily available for everybody. People got on and just started being better and better. It's just that, the talent and quality has just gotten better and better. An old guy like me, I've been doing 25 years more, almost 25 years. At the same point, I'm like, hey, I'm really, it gets to a point of, graphic design, you can only go so far and you can only make so much money because now it becomes readily available. Everybody's doing it. So everybody jumped to the web. And that's where I jumped, way back when. And now, look, I'm looking at, where do I see myself in the future? Well, I've done a lot of Google Analytics kind of stuff behind the scenes, but I still want to be in the creative part. So now I'm looking at After Effects and, Premiere and doing more TV stuff and motion graphics stuff. I think there's a great field that still people haven't got into 100%. But I think with YouTube videos and stuff like this, I think TV is the next, or video is the next big frontier. So that's my thought on that. Next book we're going to talk about is another great book. It's kind of poignant today. Jimmy Stegmaier. How do you pronounce his name wrong? I think Stegmaier. He is the guy who actually created the game Scythe. So a lot of people say, "Oh, the crowdfunding strategy guide." What does this guy know about crowdfunding? Well, he created Scythe, and if you've been to, now I got to put that as a note. See, look at that. I wasn't even planning to do that. I'll type in Scythe and Kickstarter. If you don't know what Scythe is, and you should, because if you're into games, it is an impressive Kickstarter. This is one of many that Jamie's done. Let's tell me Jamie's done altogether, because I don't even know how many he's done. He's had 8 Kickstarters altogether. Let's take a look at the 8 Kickstarters he's done. Tuscany was his big one. Tuscany, how much money did he raise with Tuscany? Tuscany raised $450,000 with 4,333 backers. And let's see. Oops, let's go back to this. Scythe. Scythe raised $1.8 million with 17,739 backers. So if you want to talk about guys who apparently know how to do games that people want to play and are interested in, you might want to just check it out. Plus, his book is awesome. This book, some of the stuff I knew, but if you read his website, hey, Lucas, what's going on? if you check out his website, a lot of stuff is readily on his website, and I just wanted it in book format to read. I've not talked about this book before. You know, I highlighted the depth. I hope you can see this. I highlighted this like crazy, as you can tell. A lot of good ideas. Yeah, and I highlight books. Yeah, anybody gets a book from me, if it's not been highlighted, it probably means I didn't read it. That's always a setup. But like, you know, I highlight a lot of my stuff. And this book had a lot of just good information. If you don't know anything about Kickstarters, and even if you think you know, go by his website. What's Jimmy's actual website? I don't even know anymore. What is this? Yeah, Stonemaier Games, and that's STONEMAIER games.com. I'm going to put this in because I wasn't planning on talking about him, but apparently now I am because I put his book up. It happens when you start doing stuff. You're not playing like I was only going to hold these 4 books, and that's all I was going to talk about. Never ever happens that way. This is why I love this. It's all live. It's all there, and you never know exactly what you're going to do or say until it comes out of your mouth, which can be a lot of fun and confusing, especially when stupid things like that happen. Ugh. Anyway, so I think the book has a lot of just good information, but a lot of people ask me, you know, what do you think about the kicks? And it's funny, but so many people like lately, and I mean that like recently have been like doing Kickstarter. So like, oh, I'm doing a Kickstarter. I'm doing a Kickstarter. It's like, wow, what's all this Kickstarter stuff? And I mean, even today, a friend asked me to take a look at his page, his Kickstarter. And I think he did an awesome job. Something so awesome that made me think of, I got to do something just like this too. Not Kickstarter, but just something he did. I don't want to reveal it yet because it's not official. But when it comes out, I'll explain it to you and I'll tell you what I saw and I think everybody should be interested in. So, yeah, the crowdfunder strategy guide. This works really with everything, but it also works very much with Kickstarter because I mean that's what the focus has been. And you know, it's funny. It's funny. Just a lot of background information, a lot of stuff that he can talk about what he's done. You know, what I thought was interesting when he talks about why he wouldn't do, which I think is when I thought about it, it made sense why he doesn't do early bird stuff. And it's like, you know, early bird, you're the first guy there, you get this better discount. Da, da, da. He talks about why he doesn't do that. And I was like, well, that's kind of stupid. Why would you not do early bird? That's ridiculous. And then he explains why he does it. And it's like, wow, that's I never really thought about it like that. Why would I do that? So it's just a lot of smart stuff like that. I think once you read it and really get into the guts of this, there's just, you know, it's like, here's something I did. Here's something I know I did specifically. And this is something I because I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't have thought of this. And some of it sounds silly, but it's kind of obvious, but you still wouldn't think about this. For example, the top 5 ways to treat backers as individuals, not as numbers, in a Kickstarter. You know, a lot of people do that. They'll get a Kickstarter going and then just think like, give me the numbers. Number 1, and this is something that I did that I thought was crazy, but it was worth every cent. Individually thank you messages to every one of your backers. That means, you know, not a generic one. You write and say thank you. You find something about them. You include that in the email. I mean, most people aren't going to do that. Most backers are not going to do that. You're not going to do a personal one, you know, especially like him. He's got 17,000. I don't know if he did all 17,000, but I'm willing to bet you he did some of those. He actually typed some of those out and looked them up. You know, I think that's just, you know, a brilliant idea. Here's one that I keep saying I want to do. I haven't figured out how to do this correctly, but one day I'm going to do this. I really am. Because I think it's just a money back guarantee. Yeah, money back guarantee. You don't like our Kickstarter, you bought it, you put it into your money, but you don't like it, you can get your money back. And first thing people are like, no way, man. What if there's like, you know, all these books I got to pass back? Well, you know, if you think about it, you put on money back guarantee, and you got a great product, you're not going to have like 95% of the people sending the book back. It just won't work because once again, you've given the guarantee, you've shown them a lot of stuff, to put in there. You know, they're just not going to do that. I mean, I said really at the most. I mean, he tells you how many. You know, so he did a money back guarantee for Viticulture, the one I was just talking about. It shipped 1,300 copies to game backers. The total number of money back requests was, maybe says drum roll, which I think is awesome, 0. Nobody asked. Nobody. And he says the reason why, because one reason why this was, hey Steve, what's going on? Viticulture was a good-looking game. Many people enjoyed playing it, and backers felt loyalty to him. Returning the game is a hassle. That's one of those things of, I mean, if it's a hassle to do, most people are like, I forgot, I'll just keep it. No big deal. And even if someone doesn't like the game, they could serve as a nice gift. And here's the important one, and I think this is another one we as publishers and we as creative people need to do. The game is worth more than what the backers paid for it. There you go. The game is worth more than what the backers paid for it. Another thing they did, which was brilliant, that I totally copied this one. Social media stretch goals. I saw that. Damn it! See, I don't want to talk about them. I'm not going to add them to the list. BattleTech did one. BattleTech. If you've seen the BattleTech Kickstarter, I'm going to put the little link in here, of course. Spell be helpful. Let me see if I can get this real quick, and I can take a look at it and confirm this stuff. But the BattleTech did a great Kickstarter. They did everything right on their Kickstarter. They made a lot of money. I forgot how much money were they trying to get. Was it some small amount initially? All right, let's get this campaign. Yeah, initially they asked for $250,000, and they raised $2.7 million. So more than 10 times as much. That ain't bad anyway. Yeah, and of course, to make it even more, they raised another like nearly $80,000 on PayPal on top of this. So once again, these guys did social media goals that I thought were awesome. I copied it for Crisis and Neo-X's, or just Crisis. I think just Crisis. I can't remember anymore, but they tied in social media goals to help produce and do stuff, and they did it. And it was brilliant. It was a brilliant idea. Every week they had social media goals, and when the social media goals got up to a certain point, you got something else extra as a donor, and that was brilliant. You got people to talk about the game to other people. I just watched and followed this one because I thought it was interesting to see how they're developing it and how it was just going about. But this on top of it, just like, wow, man, what's a smart idea? That's a smart idea. That's a smart idea. And even with Kickstarters, I always tell people, Kickstarters, try to find things that you can give people that don't actually cost you something out. Like one of my favorite ones I use, especially for role playing, it's a perfect one. Tell people to submit their picture. At this level, you submit your picture, we'll put you in the game. I had 8 people do that for Neo-X's, and they're all our major NPCs. I think one of them actually was a leader. Not everybody was an NPC. One was actually one of our leaders I swapped a face for. Yeah. But think about it. Their face is in my game. It's nothing cool to say, look, my face is in the game. My face is in the game. I'm in the game. That's a great selling point. People talk that up. That's a win-win. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. That's an awesome. Another piece from the book. Interview a day. Doing an interview a day. That sounds like a lot of interviews. Going to people every day, have an interview with somebody. That's a smart. A lot of people don't do that. They do one at the beginning, they'll do one at the end, and that's all you'll see. You'll maybe get another one if you're lucky, but it's like boom, they interview a day. Involve backers in the creative process. That can be a good, bad thing. I'm not going to lie. I didn't do that one because at the same time, while it is interesting to see them get involved, there can be a problem because they might have their own vision of what they think the thing should be, and it's opposite of yours, even though they like the thing, and it can be a trying thing. I mean, I know for myself, I thought it was best to make sure the products were done before we did the Kickstarter. That's what we did with Crisis, and Crisis has moved along a lot quicker than it should have. And we're at that point of, okay, now we just need art. Now we're going to do art, put it together, and put it out. So that's an interesting way to look at it. So this book is a great book. You must check it out. Must get it. Go to Amazon. The link will be in the description. You must buy this. I'm not playing with you. If you're doing a Kickstarter, you're not buying this book, you're stupid. Not that you're dumb, you're stupid. There's a big difference. Buy this. It's worth every cent. And last, I have a book that is a treasured book of mine. Little backstory before I share this book. Back in the early till mid 90s, I became I was working at a small little company called Comics Bellies Monthly. I was doing all kinds of stuff. Had a very good friend of mine, Matt Sanger. Matt was a big movie head. So now I was a big into movies, but Matt really got into independent movies. Really, he had a Laserdisc player. We had all of these, he had like hundreds of Laserdiscs. I mean, it's funny looking back how many Laserdiscs he had then and now. It's like, oh my God. But he was like a movie fanatic. So with that, we were watching a lot of movies. And then we got into a lot of independent movies that were coming out and a lot of stuff from overseas. Matt was the guy who turned me on to the whole Hong Kong action stuff. John Woo with The Killer and Bullet to the Head and stuff like that. There's another book. I don't know if there's another book up here. Do I see it? If you ever... Okay. if you ever want to get a great book on Hong Kong cinema, I mean, every facet from fantasy to gunplay to mysticism, it's a book called A Bullet in the Head, Sex and Zen and a Bullet to the Head. Is that what it's called? It's been such a long time. I used to have it in my Sex and Zen. Bullet to the Head. Yep, look at that. Been nearly 20 years. I still remember that book. I bought this book, published in 1996. That tells you how long this book's been out. It's a great book. I'll put it in the notes here. I think it's a great book for the whole genre of Hong Kong cinema. If you don't know anything about Hong Kong cinema, or even if you know a little bit, it's a great book. There's lots of good stuff. I found a lot of great movies out of there, like Full Contact. Full Contact is one of my favorite like Hong Kong films. Of action. Oh, there's just some great action ideas that just good stuff. Good stuff. So, all that being said, I got like really. I thought about one day, thinking, oh, maybe one day I'll do a movie. I'll do a movie. I always imagine that, like everybody else. But there's this guy I heard about, who made a movie, and it became very, very popular in the indie scene, and everyone was raving about this guy, and it was like, who's this guy? I never heard of him. This is his first movie, and what made his first movie so amazing is that he made it for $7,000. And everybody said, we could be made for $7,000. It's a great movie. It's like, dude, this movie's awesome. This movie looks like it spent a whole lot more than $7,000. And if you want to put it in perspective, Blair Witch, I believe, was a $20,000 movie. So this movie was, 1/3 the price of Blair Witch. So the book I'm talking about, I'll put it up here. It's called Rebel Without a Crew, by Robert Rodriguez. Of course, Robert Rodriguez, El Mariachi was his first movie. I was a big fan of that movie like crazy. And he made that movie when he was 23 years old with $7,000. And he raised the money by being a human guinea pig in a drug experiment where he raised $7,000. And this whole book is him documenting his whole process from beginning to end. And it's amazing. He talks about, he does it, and it's each day. It's each day, what he did, writes a note. It's like it's like a little diary. And it's amazing how awesome this is. And he just talks about, how he saved money on stuff and how he did things differently and how he got people to do certain stuff. And it's just like one of the funniest things that he talks about here. When he's making the movie, he planned to make it only for like Spanish, like Mexican, well, not Mexican, but Mexico specifically to do the sales and distribution. It wasn't going to be in the U.S. at all. So when he's making this film, and he even talks about this. Hold on. He talks about this in the video on director's cut. He had all these guys. He was shooting and killing them. The problem was he didn't have other guys to replace them. So if you watch the film, he says you'll notice the bad guys start like really adult, older guys, like actors, and then they get like a middle-aged younger, and they get to like these 18-year-old kids at the end because that's all he could find. Because he kept killing people over and over. It's like, oh, can't use that guy again. Killed him. Can't use. So they had to get younger people. So it's kind of a very funny thing when you watch the movie. Also, out of this, he developed. I don't know if he developed it out of the book or it just happened. He did a series called his 10-minute film school, and 10-minute action. Well, 10-minute film school, but 2-minute action. There it is. The 10-minute film school. It's actually in the back of this one, the first one. He's done one that came in here. If you watch actually with the director's cut, it actually has it on the back end. Desperado, his second movie that he got because he did El Mariachi, the Desperado with Antonio Banderas and I said Eva Perón in my head. Like, no, it's not Eva Perón. Selma Hayek. I was thinking Eva Perón. I don't know what that was about. Selma Hayek, where she became infamously famous because of. And like I said, it's really interesting. And that guy, I mean, this guy's a hustler. This guy must have been a fan of this thing because this guy used the Misfit economy to set his film. So, like I said, man, smart guy. Just a lot of smart stuff out of this. So if you're a creative person, I can't recommend this book enough. You need to read it. You need to look through it. You need to really examine it because most of it's just you're getting someone's perspective who really just like you. And at this age, he's 26. It was 23. No, 23 when he's doing this film, and he just tells you what he did. And once again, the title of the book is Rebel Without a Crew, or How a 23-year-old filmmaker with $7,000 became a Hollywood player. Yeah, it's just a great book. It is just it's inspiring to see how smart he was and how he figured out how to do things with no money. And we as creative people should also figure out by reading this that, you know, how we can do things creatively with no money. I'm just saying it's a great, great book. I can't thank it enough. This one I know is relatively cheap on Amazon. Do yourself a favor, pick it up. Also, for all the people who are big fans, also, with the 10-minute film school, which is kind of cool, he also has the original screenplay in the back. You know, you won't be able to see this really. For actually, so if you ever want to know what an actual screenplay for a movie looks like, you can see it with everything there. And, you know, if you have a second, I think it's available. Well, it might be available on Netflix. If not, find the film. It's a great film. For $7,000, it's a pretty effective film, especially when he tells you about how he saved money on this thing, how you save money on that thing. So check it out. I really appreciate it. All right. In 30 minutes, that's it. I'm done. Like I said, I got one more day of vacation, so I'm just going to chill for a little bit and relax. I'm going to get all this information up here because I think you guys will appreciate it. Yeah, it's, you know, just a lot of good books to read. It's always good to read a good book. You always need good books. Even more knowledge. Spend some time. Get some good information. It's good for you. It's good for you. I like that. So there you go. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I think I don't know who we're going to evaluate. Like I said, I don't even have any plans, but like I said, I am on vacation, so I'm kind of thinking. I don't even know. It might be someone I like, it may be someone I don't like. You never know, or some crazy thing might pop up, and people might be saying, "Hey, you know, I heard about this in the news." So, you know, it could be anything. You never know. So we'll see about tomorrow. Got to read more, Troy. Got to read more. Oh, okay. So my read more speech. Just my little speech on reading more. This is important. A lot of people don't think about it. But this will scare you and also make you kind of happy too. The average American reads one book a year. One. If you want to be a specialist in any field that you're interested in, if you read just one book a month, just one book a month on the field that you're interested in, within 5 years, you'll be on the top 5% of people. Now remember, we talked about, first thing, average American reads one book a year. You read 12, I need two more fingers, 12, 5 years, that's 60 books. That's 60 years worth of stuff. Most people aren't going to have that kind of knowledge. Hence, why I read a lot of books. Hey, what can I say? I'm no genius. I figured out some stupid stuff that just seems to work well. That's why I keep doing it. So you can take it or you can leave it, but I hope you take it. So thank you so much. As always, thank you everybody for coming by and watching our show. Do me a huge, huge favor. As always, check out our YouTube. See, YouTube. Go there, subscribe. We also need more subscriptions on YouTube. It's always very important. Like I said, it helps with our analytics, so that's very important to me. So please check it out there. And come back tomorrow, 9 o'clock. We'll be here, and we'll have more fun stuff to talk about. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you later.